Howdy guys, Jet Scott here. We're back with another episode from Scott's Speed Shop, and today we're doing something pretty unique. Now, apologize for the headband. I know it looks silly. It's 107 degrees today here in Kansas. It's a little on the warm side for a fat guy who only wears black shirts. I actually broke my creed and I'm wearing shorts right now, which is pretty terrible. So let's get right into what we're doing today, and I may educate you on something. So getting right into it, this video is going to be featuring some really cool products, in my opinion, that you can get from Jegs or whoever your preference is. I'm a Jegs guy, I love them, so I buy solely from them. As you can see, this bitch is full of yellow and black. And as you saw, my big Jegs banner right there. So, we're working on one of the 4570 1050 Dominators for my Pro Stock Hemi. Now, I've been working on this engine for about 2 months solid. Well, not really solid, but in my off time, finishing this engine, actually assembling it when Tall John and my buddy Brian were here. They're also YouTubers, Tall John's Fun Shop, Brian at Dust Devil Garage. They kind of sparked me to want to finish this engine. Finally put it together over all these years I've had it sitting around. So, this video will be coming out after a while. I still got work to do on it. The heads are all redone, balancer, bottom ends all cleaned up, beautiful, new oil pump setup, all the machine work and everything to make the secondary distributor work with this Hillborn drive, and getting these all set up together. Of course, the heads, everything Market Advanced Machine did, Dune Lash, and all this other crap, getting everything set up to where everything fits right. And now it's come time to rebuild the two Gen 1 1050 Dominators. Here we are. Here's one of said Dominators. Got the cast-in stacks, just like how Ford, you know, this is basically the original Dominator that Ford kind of pushed Holley to make for the NASCARs. And this is not your typical tunnel ram or one-to-one linkage Dominator. This one is a little bit progressive, which will be fine for what this engine's going to do. And I have two of these that are identical, and we're going to be rebuilding these. And these are extremely straightforward carburetors to do. They're actually easier to do than a 4160 or a 4150. But I'm going to show you some things you can get at Jegs that I think are freaking awesome. One of those things is these carburetor caps. I think these are like some of the best things you can buy. For one, they protect stuff from getting inside of your carburetor. And two, they make the perfect storage bin for all your small parts. These things are freaking awesome. I buy every carburetor I have on my shelf has one. Look at all those. And then there's carburetors in the house. They keep crap out of the carburetor, and when you're gonna build them or do anything, it's the perfect little bin to put all your parts in. These Dominator ones are freaking gigantic. So, like, there's the little Jegs carburetor I got on display. But that's not really what we're showing off today in this video. What we're really focusing on is this little rebuild stand that Jegs sells. And I got a brand new one here. And it's part number 15836 4150 square flange rebuild kit. So I think these things are really freaking slick for building a carburetor, or even just for displaying it. As you can see, I painted this one with gold candy paint, duded it up, made it look real pretty, so that way when a carburetor's on display somewhere, you know, people, their eyes are drawn to that. So we're going to get this unboxed. We're going to show you how it goes together and what these other holes are for. I do apologize for the fan noise. It's going to be pretty excessive in this video, but it's 107 degrees out, so it's incredibly hot. So here's your base plate you get from Jegs. Get all the little pegs and stuff. Now here's what's really slick about this stand. So you can move these pegs into any of these, and I'll give you a myriad of combinations for building carburetors. I do believe one of these sets of holes is useful for one of these WCFB carders from the early 50s. And I don't know if it's gonna fit my Dominator. I was kind of hoping maybe it will. We're gonna find out real fast. No. We do not have Dominator flange. That kind of sucks. But anyways, don't really need it with the Dominator because nothing really hangs down low and it sits flat, so not a big deal. Thank you again, Bobby at Jegs, for sending me that. That is definitely going to get put to use because I got plenty of carburetors to do, and having a spare stand will be excellent because, well, I like keeping this Jegs carburetor on display on my other stand. And as you can see, I've got a double pumper here I've got to go through today as well. and get it all finished. So that'll be on that stand. So with all that said, let's dig right into this Dominator and let's make it beautiful again. By the way, before I go on and get started on this Dominator, just want to let you know there's a link in the description of every single video that links you straight to Jegs' website using my channel. And I don't really know what the link does. I think it might get you a discount, maybe, maybe not. Sources traffic, so if you want to use my link, it's down in the description. Go to Jegs, get yourself some sweet speed parts. That's, like I said, it's where I buy everything from. So support cool companies. I like supporting cool hot rodders. With that said, Dominator time. All right, so as per usual, when you do a carburetor rebuild, it's always easy to remove these adapter fittings for the float bowls while the carburetor is assembled. Now, being a Dominator, it's got ambidextrous float bowls, so it's got a plug and a fuel threading fitting. These don't matter which way you put them in. If you want the fuel in on one side or on the other, you can always swap them. I see my Dominator float bowls, and these will fit on regular 4150s if you want to use them. Metering blocks are different though. So now what I always do is I take off the accelerator pumps here. Then I'm going to take off these arms, which is just a little C-clip. And those will slide off. And then we'll take the bowls off, metering blocks, and so on and so forth. Okay, Dominator number 1 is apart. Dominator number 2, getting ready to take it apart. Everything in this thing, it's just dirty, grimy, mucky. It just needs regasketed, cleaned up. Everything's in really good shape, all the throttle shafts, there's no wear in them. We're not going to mess with any of the internal linkage inside of there. That's actually what opens and operates the butterfly. It's actually kind of cool how it works. Little cam. That's how a Dominator works versus a 4150 where it's all external. Metering blocks just need a little light cleaning. They got power valve block offs. But yeah, gonna get them both apart and we're gonna assemble them exactly the same jets primary, and then the same on the secondary. If we're gonna run a power valve, which we won't, we'll make sure it's all the same. That's the main thing when you're setting up tunnel ram setups. They have got to be the same starting off. And once you put it on a dyno and you got EGT sensors and stuff, then you can mess around by putting one jet size over here bigger, make this one a little bit smaller, blah 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 blah, to dial in the engine, get the mixture just right. But as far as primary setup, make them both exactly the same. All right, so I got places to go tonight with Dad and the girlfriend. We want to go shopping and get some stuff to get ready to create the run stand for that guy. And well, it's Harbor Freight, so we want to go play in Harbor Freight, see what we buy we don't need. So got the carburetors all apart. Everything's pretty good inside of them. These are all the miscellaneous small parts from each one. I numbered each of the carburetors, metering blocks, and all their associated parts, 1 and 2. So these parts I'll clean by hand. They're not as critical. Inside my bucket with my special cleaning solution I've devised myself is the main bodies, the float bowls, the metering blocks, and the pump arms. They're gonna sit in here for probably 3 days and just soak, and then I'll pull them out and I will use my toothbrush here, not my actual toothbrush for my teeth, but this toothbrush to clean them. And that's how I clean carburetors. I use a toothbrush and I do everything manually. And the reason why I do that is when you do things like that, instead of like putting them in I had an ultrasonic cleaner, I wasn't impressed by it. And when you do things by hand like that, you really get a good view of everything. Your hands are on every single part and you're visually inspecting it as you clean every inch of it. So it allows you to find if there's a problem, if there's a broken piece or something's loose. Like one of the boosters in one of those carburetors was loose, so I had to reset it when I initially cleaned them. I guess I didn't do that good of a job, but they've also been sitting around for several years. So they're gonna sit in there, they're gonna clean, they're gonna soak, and I'll check back with you guys in a few days. All right, guys and gals, so we are back, and it is still hot, but carburetors are as clean as I can get them. Number 1 carburetor was very clean. Number 2 carburetor was extremely filthy. I mean, ridiculously dirty. As you can see, now that one's a lot shinier silver and this one's a little darker. There was not a lot I could do to get this one as spotless. I tried to get all the burn marks out where it's been on fire before. And that's what happens when guys don't know what they're doing with Holley carburetors. This one, not so bad. This one, I got it as good as I possibly could. So I mean, they're good enough. I blew them all out. That's one thing a lot of guys forget to do, is check all the orifices, make sure these air bleed holes are very clear, because those aren't clear, those are obstructed. You're gonna have a bad day. So metering blocks, same story. They're all cleaned up, verified they were true Dominator metering blocks, which they are. Float bowls are all cleaned up. This float bowl, no, it's this one, not as clean as this one. This one had a little adhesive sticker, and you can see that. But I will say, the zinc dichromate on the inside of these bowls is phenomenal. I wish I could find more carburetors with that finish, but on the outside. But Dominators weren't zinc dichromate, they were just raw aluminum like that. So they're all cleaned up. I'm gonna start cleaning all the small parts, and then we get to start assembly, picking out our jet sizes, power valve or no power valve. We're probably not gonna run any power valves. It'd be kind of silly to have power valves in this engine. So I'm gonna get to work on that, and I will show you guys as I go along. Okay, guys and gals, so I did my usual. The GoPro's all set up. That's funny, and that's behind the scenes of YouTubing right there. So I just got done talking to Andy Wood at Unity Motorsports Garage. Go check him out. And the reason why I say is because he's a fellow carburetor fanatic like myself. I know this video won't get a lot of views, but the few of you who watch this, please go check him out. And when I do carburetors like this, I always like talking to a fellow carb guru, enthusiast, specialist, and just bounce ideas off and make sure I'm going in the right direction, because you may miss some things, you may overlook some things. So it's good to know I'm on the right track. You know, we both agreed on the jet sizes and power valve and all that stuff. So we're gonna get to assembling these. We're gonna speedy footage that stuff so you guys can have a little bit of relaxed time, and we'll be done with these in about an hour probably. Okay, well, that took a minute and we ran into a snag. So unfortunately we have one float bowl that does not match, but luckily I had some extras. By the way, these Jegs carb caps, I'm seriously not kidding, these things are amazing. I wish I would have had the right rebuild stand, because that would have been cool, but I didn't. I ordered the wrong one. So there they are. They're both as clean as I can get them. Carb 1 cleaned up a lot nicer because it wasn't as dirty. Carb 2 here, it's got some grime in it, but that guy, it's much cleaner. But what matters is internally, and I got them as clean as I could get them. There were still residual gas ATF in places, which is fine. Everything's set up to really just fire right up. All the idle mixture screws are 1.5 turns. Throttle shafts are set at 1.5 turns out, which should be good enough. And yeah, these should be ready to rock and roll. In fact, these are backwards. There we go. So yeah, real happy with that. There they are, a matched pair of 1050 Gen 1 4575 Dominators for my Pro Stock Hemi. Which, by the way, if you're curious what one of these things weighs, I will try and find my scale. If I can find it, I'm going to weigh one of those. And I want to show you this tunnel ram here made of magnesium weighs about 9 pounds, if that. So let me see if I can find my scale. Oh, that's a big negatory. I must have threw it out or it got damaged. I don't know where it is. Anyways, so with these things rebuilt, that means that video shouldn't be far out. Maybe a week or two, so you can hear that thing run finally. I always had plans on running that thing on the dyno first, but dyno schedule is not great, so I'm not gonna wait. We're gonna build a custom stand for that. So you'll see the video of this engine's assembly and build, and then you'll see it run. But first you'll see this video. Heck, I might even do the typical YouTuber thing you don't get this video until this video gets 10,000 views. That would be super wrong and mean. I'm not going to do that. Because this video will probably get 2,100 views. I bet. And those 2,100 of you are the most awesome people. Don't forget to get all your freaking awesome stuff from Jegs. Seriously, if you get anything from Jegs at all, get one of these carb caps, whether it be for a 4150 or for a Dominator. Because not only do they keep shit out of your carburetor, but they also work as a great bin to put all your crap. Especially like when you're done rebuilding it, you know, you just throw all your stuff in there. And boom, look at that. Now you ain't got to carry around a bunch of stuff in your hand. You just, oh, power valve tool from Jegs too. That's actually really handy. Another good part to get. Look at that. They're cheap. Get them. They're awesome. As I said, I have a million of them. So, as always, guys, I appreciate you for checking this one out. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. And hopefully that next video might be the Pro Stock Assembly. And then we might get to hear it run. I don't know. Only time will tell. And as always, take care. See you in the next one. And bye-bye. Yay!